certifications that expire over a period of time and they have to go back in and redo? Or is this all for new hires and onboarding?
So it's for all current personnel throughout their career. And yes, it'll prompt supervisors. This document has not been signed. Even when I log in, it'll say, hey, you have a new document that has not been signed. And so it's a constant reminder as you log in. But the supervisors, it provides them visibility of anyone under their command to see who has not addressed whatever items are outstanding.
Very good. Thank you. Glad to know that.
Yeah, I'm glad to know that too. Okay. Any more questions? Okay.
Move the
I
item.
have one more question.
Oh, yes, Councilor
I'll
Abbott,
second
yes.
it. I'll second it. And then the only other question I had was when people do these online training modules or online items, is there any kind of testing for knowledge of the contents of what they've done online? Or is it just, yes, I did this, and you just sign off?
So that varies. If they're going to, say, a third-party website, and because they're allowed to do, so the sworn officers are allowed to complete 6 hours of online training each year. That is going to depend on which site they choose to use, whether they do it some type of a proficiency test. But internally, typically, when we push out videos or policies, well, mostly videos, there are questions. They may have to answer 2 or 3 questions to make sure that they did capture the purpose of that particular training module.
Good, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There's been a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The item passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is item number 12. It's a contract for sale of real estate between the city and the Surge Project for the purchase of property known as Eureka School located at 816 18th Way Southwest and 801 19th Street, Birmingham, Alabama 35201 for the purchase price of $25,000. Okay.
Good afternoon, councilors.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Janice James Dothert. I serve as real estate manager in the Department of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. Today, we're seeking your approval for the sale of the former Eureka Elementary School for the $25,000 to the Surge Project. The building has been vacant for several decades now and is in disrepair. So the property did appraise for $51,000, but we are asking the support for the $25,000 to sell. The property would take about, they're looking at an estimate of about $400,000 plus to repurpose the building. So it's going to take a lot. But the Surge, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Surge Project, and then I have Tiandra the Ellis, the founder, that can give us a little bit more information. But the Surge Project is a community-led organization that offers wraparound services in low-resource neighborhoods. The acquisition of the building will become their permanent home, and they would also be able to provide workforce development, have a workforce development hub there. Ms. Ellis is here that can answer a lot more questions about, give you a little bit more information on what the program that they do. I think some of you may be familiar with the Surge Project. So, if it's okay with Ms. Ellis, could.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Of course.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey. As she mentioned, the Surge Project, we are a 501c3 organization, and we have historically set our sights on District 6 and 7 in the city of Birmingham. We have worked with students also at Jackson Nolan High School. We were BOLD awardees for 2023, and from that we were able to get there's about 15 students that are high school seniors, graduating seniors, credentialed in the healthcare industry. And so from that program, the WorkWell program, we feel that it would be very good for us to have a centralized resource center where people can come and receive that training. And we also have our own staffing company that we recently started so that as they receive that training, they also get their credentials from the National Training Institute for Healthcare Technicians, which is our partner organization. They were also our partner for the BOLD grant. And then we will connect them with employment opportunities. Particularly for that community. Historically, we have set our sights around gun violence prevention. So we also offer mental health care through a licensed therapist who works with our team, and he also has 3 other therapists that works with him as well. We also have a holistic wellness practitioner, and we have partnered with several schools in the city of Birmingham doing work around youth development and mental health care and wellness.
Okay, perfect. Madam Pro Tem, do you have any
Yes,
questions?
thank you very much. I was very excited. I know you received the BOLD grant. Did this include phlebotomy training? That's the one that kind of stuck in my mind.
Yes, ma'am. They
right?
could get licensed in phlebotomy or as EKG techs. And so about 15 students from JO all became licensed EKG techs.
Very good, very good. And you did mention District 7. So did you have any students from Winona High, or if you've
We
expanded
did
that
not
yet?
have any from Winona this, our first year, but we do plan to pull in those students for our next go-round.
right.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, Council Abbott.
Yeah, my question, and it really just popped up since you gave us that nice overview, was you're concentrating on Districts 6 and 7, but if students from other areas of town were interested, they wouldn't be excluded just because they're not in those districts.
Oh, absolutely not. Even for the Work Well program, we had the students from Jackson Nolan, but we had other individuals because the program was ages 18 to 35. So we had people from several of our districts in Birmingham. So there would be no exclusions. That's just where we have typically put our tent and our nails.
Well, you know, as long as I've lived in Birmingham, I have never heard of Eureka School. I can't believe it. I'm gonna have to go hunt it down. But,
It's in West End.
Yeah.
Right.
well, I just thought I kind of knew Birmingham, and I'm like, where is this? So, like I said, I'll have to go look for it.
It's been
But,
closed for a long time. Yeah. Very long time.
Yeah, the last recorded time is 1964, actually, for the school operating. But I believe it operated after that. We just didn't have it in the books because during that time, there was a lot of things happening around integration with schools. So it just kind of dropped off the map. I've done a little bit of research on it. And I've also been in the community talking with residents. And there are people who live in that community who went to that school in the first grade. And these people are 80 years old at this point. And so they're happy to hear that somebody's coming to bring life back to the school. And also there are licensed contractors in the community that have offered to assist with helping with the rebuild. So,
Well, and it's amazing that the school building would still be standing after all those years of neglect. So it just goes to show how historic buildings are built better many times
Right.
than the new stuff. Certainly the wood is better. Anyway, thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Thank you.
Well, you know, I'm familiar with the project, well, with the work you've done, in particular Washington K through 8, what you've done for the kids, what you've done for the adults, winning the BOLD grant. So I'm excited to see you finally get home, and really help District 6 and 7, because we do have a lot of gun violence and unemployed people. So I'd love to see what it's going to be like, your impact in 5 and 10 years in our district. So, okay. Anybody else have any questions?
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The item passes. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is item number 13. This is to apply for federal grant funding for the Real-Time Crime Center in the amount of $4,200,000, with no matching funds due from the city.
That is
Caught y'all
Madam
off
Chair. So, this was one of our federal asks that we had we submitted to Senator Britt, and we were very successful in one of the appropriation bills out of the Commerce Justice Science Bill that allows us to get this $4.2 million for the Real-Time Crime Center to do upgrades and install cameras.
Is there anybody, you guys coming to speak about it?
Unless you have any other questions.
Is there any additional information we need to know about?
No, this is just us getting the money.
I'm so happy, because I know Madam Pro Tem and I were in those meetings with our federal representatives. We actually do work, y'all. We do go to meetings. And so we are advocating for this as well. So I'm happy to see we got
Yeah,
the
this
money.
was one of 4 of the asks that was granted to us, and Birmingham was one of the other ones that was awarded
Oh,
to us
great.
for $1 million.
That's great, great, great. Okay, Council Abbott, do you have any questions?
Okay, so I just want to confirm, we're not just making application, we've been awarded.
Yeah, it's just a process. So this is just the technical, because it goes through DOJ. And so Senator Britt didn't just write us a check, it has to go through an actual department. So we'll go through DOJ and then we'll get appropriated the funds.
But it's a mere formality at
Yes, ma'am.
this point. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Pro Tem?
I'm good, thank you.
Also, just very quickly, we know kind of how this is going to help the real-time crime center. Can you kind of tell us what will the money be used for? Just a couple of sentences, if you don't mind.
Good afternoon again. So our goal is to just expand the camera system, the camera public safety platform. So various assets. We have a few things sketched out, but not want to speak prematurely, but we're super excited and it's definitely going to help progress the Real-Time Crime Center.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the item passes. Thank you. Next is item number 14. This is a program funding agreement between the city and UAB, under which UAB will construct and operate the Genomic Medical and Data Science Building, which will conduct research in genomic medicine, biology, and support facilities. The city will pay UAB pursuant to amendment number 772, an amount not to exceed $500,000 in support of the program.
Good afternoon. I'm Coriate Hauser, Service Deputy Director for the Department of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. What you have before you is an incentive for UAB to for their new Alltech Genomics Center. They're going to expand their employees by 190 for a total of around 730 employees in this building, with an average salary of about $90,000, with a total economic impact to the city of $415 million, with local taxes being about $1 million per year. So this incentive is from the city of Birmingham to support those salaries that are coming out of the new Genomics Center.
Great. Okay. Council Abbott, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I always appreciate your explanations because they're concise. So when will all this begin to happen? These 80 new employees, I realize they've got existing employees, but what's the
Yeah,
timeline?
so they've already started with some of these. Some of them won't come in until the actual building is built, but some of these are already existing UAB employees for that total number. So they've started to transition over and they're recruiting currently for researchers and scientists.
Okay, is this the building that's on 19th, or is this yet a new building that's going to be on University Boulevard?
I think it's on 19th? Yeah.
So it's the one that's already under construction?
Yes.
Underway. And then the new building on University is not underway yet, but it will probably start in about 15 minutes. Because UAB is fast.
Yes.
We need to take lessons. So thank you.
Okay, Madam Pro Tem?
I guess my question was just gonna center around, I know you said 80 new employees. And so we filled these, and with the salary, I'm just thinking these are researchers or these are?
Researchers, research assistants, everything around genomics. So scientists, researchers, biologists, et cetera.
Okay. I was just thinking as we try to expand workforce development within the city, are there any programs we have or any linkages we have with certain colleges that may be able to, I want to say, help the recruiting or help the interest in someone moving to Birmingham or living in Birmingham currently taking one of these jobs? So that would be good.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, yeah, that would be good to have internships for our students as well to be included, so, okay. I don't have any questions.
Move the item.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye, the item passes. Next item is item number 19, a redevelopment agreement with the Birmingham Jefferson Civic Center Authority, under which the city wants to obtain title to parking deck number 3 on the former Caraway Hospital site from Northside Redevelopment. Will convey the title to the deck to BJCC for $1, and then the BJCC will develop and renovate the deck to provide parking for the new amphitheater and the Star development. We haven't seen you in a minute.
Good afternoon, Taz Snyder with the BJCC. Nice to be here this afternoon. You want me to, we didn't have a chance to kind of decide who's going to do what. So this is associated with one of the 4 decks that are part of the Caraway, former Caraway Hospital campus. One of those decks is planned for and contemplated in part of the amphitheater project to be rehabilitated for use for parking for the project. This is for the northernmost deck, the tallest one. Those currently are part of the Northside redevelopment agreement with the city of Birmingham. There's an option in that agreement under which the city has a right to that deck. The purpose is to make sure the deck is usable when the amphitheater opens. So the plan that's been contemplated is with some of the hospital pieces in that redevelopment on a little bit slower track for the city to exercise that option, convey the parking deck to the BJCC. We would invest roughly the $5,070,000 that'd be associated with rehabilitating that deck to make it usable for amphitheater parking and other parking needs on the site. So that's just to facilitate a faster way to get the parking deck in use. I don't know if, would you like to add anything?
Jim Stanley, Office of the City Attorney. Mr. Snyder explained the transaction pretty well. The city's really almost a pass-through in this case. We did have an option that we included in our redevelopment agreement with Corporate Realty or their development entity where the city could acquire this deck for $1. So we're exercising that option, and then the BJCC has indicated an interest in coming in and owning the deck and doing the redevelopment, the development to make it usable, which is a fairly substantial figure.
All right, Madam Pro Tem, do you have any questions?
I guess I just wanted to ask, well, I know that I want to ask. This will be parking for the amphitheater among other parking, or is this going to be the primary source of parking?
So the plan is to have all 4 of those decks usable when the amphitheater opens. One that's already planned for and part of the plans in the development of the amphitheater is underway. This one, we just want to make sure, since it's the largest and requires the most significant investment, that we get it fast-tracked and moving.
Okay.
The plan is for the other 2 to be available as well as other surface parking also. But we need to have all 4 of those decks usable, and picking this one up and fast-tracking it a little bit. We hadn't planned to spend the $5 million on rehabilitating a deck, but it's important that it's there when the amphitheater opens, so that's the reason for doing this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Council Abbott?
Yes, I'm curious to know how many vehicles this deck will park.
It's roughly 694, I believe, but give or take a couple. It's going to have to be restriped, so we may lose a little bit here or there based on current code, but it's roughly in that area.
Okay, and since it's an existing deck, $5 million seems like a lot of money to renovate it. What are its issues?
Yeah, so what we found is that deck has sat so long unused, and under its former ownership before Northside redevelopment, it's been stripped of everything. I mean, even some of the structural steel cables supporting the deck. I mean, but all the steel, all the electrical, all the lighting, the elevators have to be rehabilitated. The top coat needs to be redone on the deck. There's some structural issues that have to be addressed. I mean, there's a lot there to work with, but there's a lot of work that has to be done to make that deck usable again. Unfortunately, I mean, I don't think anybody thought that was the case until we started really studying it structurally and preparing it to be reused, but there's a lot of work to do to repair it.
Well, vandals and thieves are very industrious in Birmingham.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
As we all know from what they did to the buildings before they were demolished.
Yes,
So,
ma'am, unfortunately. Yes, Councilman.
Okay, but it's salvageable.
Yes. I mean, that is the one thing we have determined. It is salvageable and significantly less expensive than building a new parking deck, but there's a lot of work that has to be done.
Well, yeah, parking decks are up to about $25,000 per space now, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
So, yeah, I'm sure this will save us money, but it will cost you $5 million.
It's an important part of the project and certainly something we're willing to step in and do.
Well, I would ask you how much it's going to cost to park there, but I won't.
Well,
Just be kind.
Yeah, the day in, day out supporting the rest of the project, I think it's be market rate parking, just based on what studies at that time showed downtown parking is. The event parking will be reasonable, in keeping with what we charge at the BJCC.
We just want to keep the parking out of in front of people's homes. We want it in the parking deck, so make it reasonable enough to where
We will,
we won't get any complaints.
yes. That's what we all want.
Thank you.
Madam Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one more question, really two. Of the 4 decks, are you saying is this the worst or the best of the 4 when we're looking at cost and trying to rehabilitate?
In terms
the
of
4?
cost, it's the most expensive to rehabilitate, but it's also the largest, so
Okay.
that's part of the
So it's the
reason as well.
size that we're getting with those spaces. And this is outside of this, but was glad to see the new parking that you were having across from Protective.
Yes.
Do you think that's gonna eliminate some of the parking where people are parking on the grass near the cemetery there? Or has that been alleviated, or do you think this just adds additional parking that will be available for not just Protective, but for the whole BJCC?
Yeah, so there's a couple, that parking space. There's some property that used to be owned by US Foods that we get possession of in July. That'll be converted for more parking. But yes, all to pull that parking down and make sure it's happening around the venues and not up in the neighborhood.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Well, I don't have any questions, so say a motion in a second.
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That item passes. Thank you. We'll see
Thank
you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, item number 24, this is for the city of Birmingham to provide $100,000 of funding to the Regional Planning Commission of Greater Birmingham as part of a required grant match in the event that they are awarded a FY 2024 Consolidated Rail Infrastructure and Safety Improvements Grant in the amount of $2 million.
I move approval.
Good afternoon, committee. My name is Colin Alexander. I serve as senior planner with the Birmingham Department of Transportation. And if you recall, about 18 months ago, we applied for a consolidated rail safety and infrastructure grant to begin preliminary engineering on the east side around Harris Homes towards Trustful in partnership with Norfolk Southern. And at the time that we applied, we made a commitment that that was not where we were going to stop, that we were going to look at the whole rail network holistically, and especially starting on the western corridor. So this is the opportunity. This is the Regional Planning Commission is applying for a study grant in the amount of $2 million looking at the Norfolk Southern and CSX rail corridors between I-65 and Bessemer. And it's in partnership with Norfolk Southern, CSX, Bessemer, Midfield, Lipscomb, and ourselves. And the goal of this is to study the corridor and identify potential future grade separation projects, either tunnels or bridges, looking along the line, looking at which crossings are redundant and can be closed, and then looking at technological or safety initiatives at the remaining crossings so that we have a holistic system that works together. The grant request is for $2 million. We are requesting $100,000 from the city to go towards the match, with the other partners making up the rest of the match.
Okay, Council Abbott, do you have any questions?
Okay, so this is to continue the good work that's already started so that other areas of town will be able to receive the same benefits of tunnels, bridges.
That's correct. We're looking at the city basically in quadrants. So you've got sort of an east side, a west side, a northern. This gives us a plan. It's not any construction documents or anything like that, but it gives us a map going forward.
Well, I think my cousin, district here, we're very excited, so thank you.
Yes, very, very excited. Okay. All right. There was a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the item passes.
Thank you.
Item number 25, this is for basically neighborhood fun days. For an annual amount not to exceed $3,000, said some to come from the Requested Neighborhood Associations Fund. Yes, where is Alice not here? What, Chief, are you?
I don't see Alice, but I can try and answer the questions.
Okay, Council Abbott?
When I was reading all the backup information for all these items, it sounded almost as if a neighborhood didn't get the funding unless they were having a get-to-know-your-neighbor event. Is that the way it's going to work? Because some neighborhoods like to spend their money on capital improvements rather than eating.
Yeah, I think it's just mostly just a blanket resolution for the neighborhoods that want to have a Get to Know Your Neighbor Day. And if they want to hire inflatables or DJs, it's not something that's required by every neighborhood to have a Get to Know Your Neighbor Day.
Okay, so maybe I misread it. It was kind of late.
Yeah.
But,
This is the same blanket resolution that we do every year.
okay, so, but every neighborhood gets their neighborhood allocation, and then they can still spend it to do
What they want in their neighborhood.
what they want
Yeah.
within reason, or within the guidelines.
Correct.
Okay. Well, when I read
That's
it,
voted on by
just,
the neighborhood.
it just sounded like like it was only for people that were going to do those bouncy houses and,
Yeah, it's just a blanket resolution to get past, purchasing when they have to buy certain things for.
well, like I said, it was late. So, thank you.
Okay, Madam President,
No question.
is there a motion and a
I
second?
move approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye, that item passes. Next item is item number 26. This is an ordinance to amend the general fund budget for the fiscal year ending on June 30th, 2024 by transferring $250,000 from finance grant match and appropriating $250,000 to non-departmental transfer to Fund 102 capital improvement, and then amend the capital fund budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024 by appropriating $250,000 to Shades Creek expansion.
I move approval.
Second.
But I do have a question. Well, actually, I had a question. I think that Hunter Williams actually explained it. I was trying to figure out why we were expanding Shades Creek.
So,
I didn't think we even had any control over the creek, but then he explained to me
So-
that this isn't the creek, it's a trail
trail.
that he's already
it's
allocated.
part of his
some
ARPA fund.
ARPA. This doesn't say anything.
Okay. I think that's just what we put it as a project name, so we can expand it to say it's, or add trail to it, so add more context to it, yes.
Well, why don't y'all just write it up so it says what it is, and then people like me would not ask for it to be taken off consent.
I'm sorry.
You'll do better in the future, I'm sure,
Absolutely.
because you don't want to hear from me. Nobody does, so, thank you.
Chaz has some tough skin.
Oh, he's always smiling, he doesn't let any of this get him.
I'd rather smile than cry.
Okay, Madam President. you have a
Well, I'm
question?
glad
Yes.
Councilor Abbott asked that question to get the clarification, because my question was, I knew that Councilor Williams had allocated some ARPA funds to expand trail, but I just wouldn't, one of the trails or part of the creek
Yeah,
trail
it's the
system.
trail, it's a joint project between Mountain Brook, Irondale, and the city of Birmingham to expand it to those different communities.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I thought it maybe had to do with flooding. We were gonna expand the creek to hold more water.
Words have meaning, so we'll correct that.
There was a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That item passes. Thank you, Chief. Next is item number 27. This is a development agreement with Coca-Cola, under which Coca-Cola will develop the former Stockholm property located at 1101 40th Street North for use as a corporate campus. The city has been awarded the Alabama Transportation Rehabilitation Improvement Program number 2 funds in the amount of $1,999,544 plus a local match of $104,600, industrial access road and bridge grant funds in the amount of $2,100,000 for the access road work. Also, there's an abatement agreement to provide for the abatement of construction-related sales and use properties and property taxes. Okay,
Thank you, and good afternoon again.
good afternoon.
I'm Griffin Lassiter. I'm a senior project manager in IAO. Since 2014, the city of Birmingham has been working with Coca-Cola Bottling Company United to redevelop the former Stockholm Valve Company property on 40th Street as a relocation site for Coca-Cola's corporate headquarters and other United operations, United being Coca-Cola Bottling Company United. United operations presently located on East Lake Boulevard. Because of the property's previously heavy industrial use, site preparation and other infrastructure expenses challenges have proven difficult to overcome. But we now have a path forward that will lead to the retention of United in the city. As you'll note in the proposed agreement, city assistance comes primarily from tax abatements, road work grants the city sponsored, and water infrastructure upgrades and modernization. United will invest $335 million into the project, creating 50 new jobs and retaining approximately 700 to 800 jobs. The city received an A-TRIP grant of just under $2 million toward road improvements to go along with a local match of $104,600. The city also sponsored and received an industrial road and bridge access grant through the Alabama Department of Transportation in the amount of $2,100,000 for necessary improvements specifically toward access to the site. The city agrees to provide in an amount not to exceed $400,000 for water infrastructure improvements. The city, with council approval, will abate non-educational construction-related sales and use taxes imposed by the city, county, and state, and the city agrees to abate non-educational and ad valorem taxes imposed by the state and county for 10 years and non-educational ad valorem taxes imposed by the city for 15 years. United has a number of representatives here that can further address the project. And who, that's gonna be you? Who's that? Okay, anyway. And Jim Stanley's here from OCA to talk about the agreement if you need questions there.
Yes, can the representatives from Coca-Cola, right, come up?
Thank you, councilors. Thank you, Griffin, for your support and the city for the support of this project. As Griffin said, we've been working on this since 2014 with the city in earnest. And as a company that's privately held and family owned and been here since 1902 in the city, we really want to and desire to stay in the city. So we purchased the land in the 2013-2014 timeline and began working with the city in that administration at that time to work forward to an opportunity to make this a reality. And as Griffin said, we plan to build pretty significant new headquarters on this site that will be a gateway to the city as you come from the airport to the city right off Interstate I-2059. We are the third largest Coke bottler in the U.S., and as Griffin said, we employ nearly 800 associates in Birmingham, plan to retain those here, as well as create some new jobs, and look to support the continued growth in this area. And then really excited about the partnership that we have with the city now to make this a reality and make sure that we have an opportunity to really redevelop the Kingston area and be a catalyst for growth in that neighborhood. Happy to answer any questions, and I think about the facility itself, if you're interested in some details, Stan Ellington, who runs our supply chain, is here to speak a bit about the details of the facility if you're interested.
Okay, I'm sure we are.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We're excited about this project. So the project will primarily entail an office building, approximately a 3-story office building, approximately 150,000 square feet, a warehouse operation of over 300,000 square feet, and 4 other buildings on the site to give the total site approximately 500,000 square feet under roof. So it'll be a significant operation. In the operation, in the warehouse, will be a state-of-the-art Verticue building system to better serve our customers and our associates. Birmingham will be the second location in Alabama to have this Verticue system in it that is certainly a benefit to everybody. The site has numerous challenges from cleanup, earthwork, utilities, some of which has already been spoken about, but it is the gateway to the city. So it is extremely high visibility, and it's significant to Coca-Cola to do what we can to kind of improve that gateway, but we're up to taking on the challenge that all of this represents. Significant infrastructure improvements are also required due to the increased traffic count in and out of the property. So that's the 40th Street work that will be taking place. As mentioned, it's over $335 million in an investment. United is committed to working with the, I get it right, the Birmingham Construction and Infrastructure Industry. For minority work, we're working with Brassfield and Gorey on that. I've already had discussions with it, so we're well on the way and committed to doing our part for that. Hafiz, anything else?
Yes, Councilor Abbott.
Yes, I want to know about the Verticue system. What is it?
It's a semi-automatic building system for the stops on the truck. So right now, our associates go around the warehouse on pallet jacks and a lot of manual operation and going through the whole warehouse. This Verticue semi-automatic picking systems certainly gives our associates more opportunities to move up, take on technology challenges and things like that, but it also reduces the effort and improves order accuracy, usually 99.9% accurate, so it improves our associates, it improves our customers are getting the right order on time, so it improves the whole overall process, and it's a significant investment in this project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's probably kind of like robotics in the automobile industry.
Right.
Wow. Well, this question is, can I go on?
Yeah,
or-
yeah, continue.
Since I'm already,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, Mr. Lassiter. Okay. A-Trip funds, just under 2 million.
Yes, ma'am.
Access Road and Bridge funds, 2,100,000. Then we have a match coming out of the
104,000.
general fund, I assume.
Yes, ma'am.
Then we have the $400,000 for the water improvements, and we want them to have good water.
Yes, ma'am.
So what's coming out of the general fund would be $500,000.
Yes, ma'am. Right at that.
Then the incentives will last for how many years?
15 years. Some of them come on earlier, some at 10 years, but they're all through at 15 years. Those are mainly the abatements, which don't impact, of course, the general fund.
Yeah, but those will be all the taxes,
Yes, ma'am.
except,
Property taxes.
except the educational taxes.
We won't touch educational taxes.
No,
ma'am.
but it's all the others.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, for 15 years. Is there a
Up to
limit?
15 years, yes, ma'am.
Up to, well, yeah. So is there a limit per year?
No, most of it is property taxes, and it's very hard to, until the county assesses the site, which is gonna be a couple of years down the road, the new building and everything. I simply don't know how much that's gonna be per year, but it would generally be after year 3, about 1/12 of it each year, I would guess, but that's a guess. But I can't say how much property taxes are gonna be 10,
Well-
12 years down the road.
Yeah.
We did add a 5% inflation factor into that to make sure that we gave you as accurate a number as we could possibly give you.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Pro Tem?
Yes, very excited about this project, and I was also very excited to hear about the investment that's going to take place in the Kingston community. Could you tell me just a little bit? You're going to have 50 new jobs. So what type of workforce development or what type of training do you envision for these jobs? Are they all concentrated like warehouse distribution and that type thing? And the reason I'm asking is that as our, either our local junior colleges or our high schools could start to prepare curriculum that could prepare people to be able to take these jobs. Are they on-the-job training, that type thing?
We've invested significantly in training within our facility. and throughout our footprint across 6 states in the Southeast. But in particular, we have a program called Culture of Learning where we're certifying all of our associates in their roles before they're able to be, to ensure that they know their role, they're satisfied in their role, they have the tools to do their job competently, and then they're prepared for the next role. And so that we're also doing career pathing and ensuring that we have a promotion opportunity for folks to move up to the extent they'd like to, and then be certified in their next role. So there's a lot of work going on in that arena. We certainly want to ensure that we hire those 50 new jobs would be throughout our organization, throughout our facility. So not just warehouse. It could be a CDL driver, when we do have a CDL school here that we fund ourselves in Birmingham to upskill some of our associates into CDL roles, which are, very good paying jobs. We also have an opportunity where we'll be able to hire office associates in our call center or in back office roles. We have sales roles that are out in the marketplace that are selling. We have merchandising roles that are out in the marketplace stocking shelves. So a host of roles across the organization. The 50 will come from all departments.
Thank you. Glad to hear that, because so often people say, well, we're bringing in new jobs, and we're thinking, what level? I'm just always want to be sure that we're bringing in jobs that have a livable wage that could really impact quality of life for people as they're taking those jobs.
Livable wage, excellent benefits, the whole 9 yards. We'll need fleet mechanics as well. We have a large fleet, so certainly that's an area. We also have a service department that takes all of our cooling equipment and prepares it for the marketplace and then delivers it into the marketplace. So we have multiple departments where we will have needs.
Perfect. Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Okay, Councilor Abbott, do you have any more questions?
I don't.
Okay.
I just, this is an exciting project, I think, for all of us who've known Coca-Cola our whole entire lives, plus some other people's lives. So it's nice that y'all are sticking around. We would
Thank
have
you.
been brokenhearted if you'd left town.
We would have too. Thank you. 1902 is very important to us.
Yeah, I
To
don't
be
remember
have been
it,
here
but
that long.
amazingly, I don't remember it, but we're just excited about this project.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, was there a motion and a second? Did I miss it?
Well, I move approval just in case.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The item passes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yes, our last item, item number 28. This is an agreement with UAB under which UAB will provide project management services and funding in the amount of $10,000 for the resurfacing of playground equipment and park improvements in Downey Park. The term of the agreement is 1 year, and the city shall contribute an amount not to exceed $25,000.
I move approval.
Okay. Jeff?
Madam Chair, I assume Councilor Abbott, are there some specific questions?
Well, my interest, yeah, there was a specific question in going through the background information. There was an $11,000 contribution from Hoare Construction that wasn't included in the $25,000. So I was trying to figure out why the 10,000, why, just why? So just tell me what is going on. Is this ARPA funding? It doesn't say so, but it sort of seems like it might be.
No, it's not.
It's not?
So twofold, I'm not for sure what document you're referencing, but if you look at the summary sheet actually has the incorrect GL code, but the item as it appears on the Budget and Finance agenda has the correct GL code, and that GL code number is 031-205-04250 542-001. That is Councilor O'Quinn's capital project account. The beginning fund balance in that account was $26,468.46. After the $25,000, the remaining balance is $1468.46. Councilor Abbott, I'm not for sure if I can actually address the question that you raised, but I do understand it. If you look at the,
I wasn't sure I understood it, but
I think what UAB's Medical Foundation is attempting to do is to show their in-kind commitment and funding towards the project as a match. And it's my understanding that's what they do with the Live Health Smart grant. I think what you see in the submission of the slide deck, they're actually showing the hard cost from the project, which totals, I think, 5,000, 3,500, and maybe 2,000, which gives you a grand, 5,500, I think. So it gives you that grand total of 11,000. So I don't think that their in-kind is represented in the slide deck or the proposal that they prepared. However, as it relates to their request of the city, they demonstrated to the city that they have a matching commitment of $10,000 of cash and in-kind services, project management, and to do the actual work.
so where does Hoare Construction's $11,000 commitment come in?
I'm not for sure, but again, I think Hoare's $11,000 may be related to the other three pieces of the project and not UAB's commitment. Hold on for a second.
Well, it did talk about sidewalks or something, or,
Correct. New sidewalks, the paint pavilion, and the upgrade to the basketball court. I think Hoare's work may be related to those projects.
okay. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna belabor the point. I was just confused when I got through reading it. And I thought, well, I'll just ask. But I don't wanna hold anything up. It's still a little bit confusing, but we'll take it. We've been confused before. And this is just discretionary funds or something to that effect? Plain old?
Essentially, it's, the equivalent of his PIC funds, yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Pro Tem?
No questions.
Okay. Was there a motion and a second?
think we-
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the item passes. There isn't any old new business. The next Budget and Finance Committee meeting will actually be on Tuesday, May 28th, due to Memorial Day holiday that Monday. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved. Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye, thank you.